Good afternoon. Thank you very much for attending today's session. My name is Stoyan Savic. I'm one of the technical resources here at Ingram Micro. With me today, I have Maria Iani, Product Manager.
Hi, everyone.
Yep. What we'll cover off today is Cisco Umbrella, the first line of defense for threats on the internet. Bit about it. So what is Cisco Umbrella? Why Cisco Umbrella is important to your business? A quick one on how to license it, and a quick demonstration of the dashboard. After this, we'll quickly go through some of our promos here at Ingram Micro and a bit about the cloud marketplace. In terms of questions, in the chat, you'll see my email address. Feel free to send any questions you have to my email address. From there, I'll create a WebEx team group where we can all collaborate, ask questions. I'll keep it open for about a week or so, and that leaves it as an open forum. So any additional questions or follow-on questions you might have from today's session, happy to help or help get you in contact with the right people here at Ingram Micro. So, interesting thing about Umbrella, I guess, is in today's cloud-connected world, more than 50% of devices, so like used to be PC devices are now anyway mobile devices. So how do you protect these devices in your network, and how do you protect these devices when they're outside your network? So that's definitely a big challenge that everyone's facing, and I guess with the transition from on-prem to cloud and accessing resources on the cloud, it's becoming a harder task for security administrators and security-focused individuals, even businesses, I guess, to secure internal data, users, and equipment as well. So 70% of malware is unique to the organization, so it's not enough time to just detect malicious payloads. You need to be able to identify attacks before they are launched. And that's critical in today's time frame, where most of the time we're working independently to identify compromises within our organizations, but we're not doing enough to do an active job seeing it on a global scale and addressing them faster than faster than what we're detecting in our infrastructure. So what I'm trying to say there is, if the IOC is detected locally and it's a unique instance to us, it would be better if we had that ability to share and collaborate that information in a global intelligence, threat intelligence approach, and be able to neutralize threats sooner and faster. I guess for most organizations, the public cloud is now part of their environment. So either as applications like Salesforce, Google Apps, or other apps that the business deems necessary, but also mobile apps, I guess the ones that users are using out there as well. And what we're doing is really placing an onus on the end user to take that security focus in mind. And that's a tough thing to do, where relinquish control of your security within your infrastructure and trust your users with whatever their apps or whatever the devices are doing on your network and, I guess, outside your network. Your data and apps are moving to the public cloud, and though this is excellent for business efficiency and innovation, it's a massive challenge to secure from the infinite number of attack vectors that are out there. So the challenge is security is delivered in a traditional sense, but we can, I guess, we connect and interface with in a new way. So we're accessing cloud resources, we're accessing infrastructure external to our own, and the problem is that the security piece hasn't quite been there for that. It hasn't been developed in the past for that. It was pretty much an on-prem solution, like you had a firewall, and that would defend your gateway. You'd have antivirus, endpoint protection, that sort of thing at the client side. So I guess the value of Umbrella here is that it's a secure internet gateway. So a set of technologies delivered in the cloud, which allow you to protect your employees regardless of where they are, what devices they're on, and whatever time of day. So I remember a time where people would go, can you get this job done? And most people would be like, yeah, I'll do it when I get back in the office. So with that in mind, I mean, the game's changed now. Now it's no longer, I'll do it when I get back in the office. It's about, I have access to resources anytime, anywhere, and I'm going to access those resources. But from a security standpoint, what are we doing to protect that user's experience? What are we doing to protect the business IP? What are we doing to protect the integrity of everyone involved, I guess? So with Umbrella, you can stop the threats on all ports and protocols. Good thing is, we can approach it with, as an early one, I would say stop threats earlier. So say stuff like phishing, malware, ransomware, and that's critical. So another cool thing is you can identify infected devices sooner and prevent C2 callbacks from achieving data exfiltration. So if we're talking about, say, a compromised device on your infrastructure, then having Umbrella as a secure internet gateway there would at least give you visibility and early prevention, hopefully, against that malware or that phishing attack exfiltrating information out, or doing a C2 callback to download an exploit, or download encryption keys, that sort of thing. One thing that I will mention that I feel is important is the simplicity of the offering. The fact that it's as simple as going onto Cisco's website, registering for a product, I guess as a trial here I'm talking. Even if you do a purchase off Umbrella, the cool thing is it's as simple as from your DHCP side, redirecting your DNS, or even from your DNS, just redirecting it to Cisco's Umbrella DNS. And that's a very easy step to accomplish. And on the dashboard, just adding the relevant network for visibility and control and policy enforcement and all of that. But what I find excellent about this offering is the fact that you can apply this at that one point within your infrastructure, and you're protecting, as you guys can see, HQ, IoT, mobile devices. And as, by 2020, they're projecting, 20 billion, 50 billion, I can't remember, IoT devices within a network infrastructure. With those sort of numbers in mind, how are you going to manage and how are you going to secure those devices? I mean, if we're talking about, like, say, healthcare industry, bringing in new machines, wearable technologies, BYOD deployments, tablets, and all of these devices that are brought into your infrastructure, how are you going to provide at least an early layer of protection without having to deploy a complex solution overall? So providing a secure internet gateway, something like Umbrella, really adds an excellent insulation and a buffer against those early threats. So the cool thing about Umbrella is not only does it protect your devices on-prem, it protects your devices offline as well. So if the game's changed now, you're no longer just working out of an office, you're working anywhere, anytime, accessing all resources. And though you might be secure within your network infrastructure, corporate HQ, your branch office, whatever it may be, but what are you doing when you go home to work? What are you doing when you're working from that cafe? What are you doing if you're out on the road going to see a customer, accessing their network infrastructure? You're placing a lot of trust and I guess all of that privileged information on your device at the mercy and I guess at the point, their security technologies, strengths or weaknesses. So, without knowing what that is, that's a lot of information to put on there and risk exposing. So how does Umbrella achieve, I guess, the visibility? It's with 80 billion DNS request visibility daily to protect partners that help automatically identify attacking infrastructure, so attackers' infrastructure, and block before even the first victim is hit. So having visibility of that large of a pool of DNS requests daily and that much visibility of internet traffic globally gives Cisco Umbrella a very strong and unique offering in terms of providing visibility at that grand scale, but also the predictability and an understanding of potential threats that are out there. So like malicious domains or threat actors that are prepping for an attack, a DDoS, or a phishing campaign, or spam, whatever else it may be, a malware, or even compromised sites out there, or whatever it may be. All of these different attack mechanisms, having that visibility to predict that the likelihood that an attack is imminent or one that has been in progress for a while, and we can apply relevant policy to block that earlier and obviously protect your infrastructure, be it on-prem, off-prem. So the cool thing is, with regards to this, like I said, on-prem protection, it's as simple as diverting your DNS to Umbrella. Off-network coverage, as it mentions there, AnyConnect integration. So there is a upgrade for the AnyConnect client to allow the Umbrella roaming component there. So that way you're always protected from that DNS standpoint. Or if you have a third-party VPN, you can always download the Umbrella roaming client as well as an option. So I'll show you back to you guys on the dashboard just after this. So what sets Umbrella apart from the competitors? Fastest, most reliable cloud infrastructure. In terms of deployment, definitely the easiest to configure. Simple DNS, just add in the DNS. What else? Most open platform for integration, third-party integrations, great. They have custom API as well for any additional integration that you require to feed in that data. Most predictive intelligence to stop threats earlier with integration with Talos, visibility of all of this internet traffic that was mentioned, like 80 billion. I think it's a higher than 80 billion now DNS requests daily to determine and have that predictability. They have automation there and analytics and threat intelligence individuals who understand how the landscape is and detect zero-day threats. With that in mind, they have the broadest coverage and there for malicious destination and file detection. So integration with like advanced malware protection, so and for endpoint, threat grid integration, third-party integrations there as well. Even integrations like other Cisco offerings like CloudLock for CABS offerings as well. Uptime, so in terms of since 2006, it's been 100% uptime. So it's a reliable solution, covers you inside your solution, inside your organization and outside your organization. In terms of deployment, like I just mentioned, easiest thing ever, just go to umbrella.cisco.com, register for a 14-day free trial, redirect your DNS to, as you see there, 208, 67, 222, 222. I believe the other one is 220. And go to the dashboard, add your network in there, you have visibility of your network infrastructure there. The great thing about that as well is that you get a great amount of visibility as to what's happening on your infrastructure today. Most of the time, users don't know what's happening on their infrastructure. If we're talking about however many devices you may have, say, when IoT becomes much more prevalent than it is even today, what are those devices doing on your network, and what access do they have to resources, what's the likelihood that these devices can be compromised? All of this has to be taken into account and specific solutions deployed to assist and remediate with certain vulnerabilities and I guess malware that's out there. So something like Umbrella really adds in a simplistic layer to protect all of your offerings from there. So how IT was built, I guess back in the day, right? Everything used to be critical infrastructure on-prem, business apps, custom software, whatever it may be, was installed on a server infrastructure in a server room somewhere within your organization. Workplace desktops, everything was on-prem. Wasn't really a mobile environment. You'd come into the office to work as opposed to you can work anywhere, anytime. Interesting thing with with wireless being a massive prevalent enabler of doing business in different ways. Cloud and mobile being big drivers with regards to removing that on-prem component, moving it out to the cloud, and mobile being able to work anywhere, anytime. It's really put a lot of strain on existing organizations and their security posture. So fine example for that would be, as you can see, workplace desktops changed to roaming laptops, mobile devices, endpoint devices that you, the user, carry around to do work anywhere, anytime. Branch offices, no longer just sending direct traffic via, say, MPLS or whatever it may be, or VPN connectivity. They now have direct internet access. So they're sending their traffic onto the internet, which is very much like the wild, old west, right? Who knows what can happen with regards to information there. So having to manage that branch infrastructure, that remote user experience. So how do you apply security policy to that critical infrastructure that's moving into data centers? Business applications are no longer on-prem, they're now in the cloud as well. How do we manage and how do we secure all of this? So these are all challenges that we're facing in today's infrastructure, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to grow. And as bandwidth grows, as new technologies come in that enable us to do business in new ways, we have to find ways to combat that as well. So something like Umbrella as a cloud-delivered offering really gives it the scale that you can't achieve with having software installed on a local device or a hardware box that you have on-prem that you're trying to manage multiple sites and multiple users from with multiple applications. as you guys can see from the slide deck there, as mentioned earlier, sorry, 50%, 49% workforce is now mobile. And out of that number, 82% admit to not using VPN to connect securely back to HQ or back to your corporate resources. With that in mind, that leaves a large number there of potential users or devices that can be compromised by anything from a phishing campaign to malware or ransomware, anything out there really. Over the next few years, 70% increase in SaaS usage as well. And as I just mentioned earlier, with regards to branches now doing direct internet access, how are we securing our connection? How are we applying relevant policies to enforce and control what we have access to and what we're actually accessing as well, and making sure that we're not accessing malicious threat actors' domains, malicious threat actors' websites or infrastructure. So the challenge there is the gaps in visibility and coverage, like with what's happening on your network infrastructure. Are your devices compromised? Are your devices healthy? Are your devices accessing information that is actually reputable, as opposed to something masquerading as that infrastructure? Cloud apps and shadow IT, being able to have that visibility of what's happening on your infrastructure. Like I mentioned earlier, with regards to end users bringing on their mobile devices and installing their own applications that help them do their job better. What can we do to control those other sanctioned or unsanctioned apps that are within our network infrastructure going undetected? The difficulty to manage security, that's definitely a challenge. You guys see this with regards to having multiple endpoint protection offerings out there, trying to integrate that tightly with a firewalling solution, with a VPN solution, with a policy controlling solution, adding control and visibility to cloud offerings as well. There's a lot to it, and the complexity is great. I mean, web, email, all of this stuff. There's a lot of different tools and functions out there that do one bit of the puzzle, but cannot give you complete security. So the problem I find with that is, even though there are a lot of offerings, how do you integrate all of these offerings into one holistic solution? That's a challenge. Now, Cisco have offerings in all of these areas, from email security, web security, to advanced malware protection on the endpoint, to ICE enforcing policy on your network, stealth watch, visibility of your network infrastructure, cognitive threat analytics. All of these pieces are parts of the puzzle that help secure your network infrastructure, your organization, your users, and your IP within the organization. So how do you manage all of this? It is definitely one that's a challenge. And obviously, malware and ransomware always, everything's as simple as the one click of the finger of a user. Next thing you know, you're compromised. So this is always something that's in the back of our mind and at the forefront of being compliant and making sure that this is a relevant conversation for businesses today. So a quick one on how it works. I mean, you guys can see up there, compromised sites, malvertising, phishing, spamming, email. So other things like unpatched programs, drive-by downloads, malvertising, free software downloads. Untrained users is always the biggest one that you can't protect against. But with something like Umbrella, at least you can catch the early, the user that just clicks the link without looking. Hopefully, as you can see there, block the malicious web link, web redirects as well. If there is a compromise, an exploit kit download, for example, so what it will do is you'll access firstly a malicious location, download the exploit kit unknowingly. The exploit kit will then do a C2 callback back to the infrastructure, the malicious actor's infrastructure, provide the relevant, I guess, the malware or the, I guess, the compromisable component there, and then send it back, another callback, and initiate download of encryption key infrastructure. So what I'm saying is, once the exploit kit does its download from the C2, we can block it there. If not, and the malware is still on your infrastructure, say somebody brought in a USB with malware on there, or somehow it got into your infrastructure because you didn't patch your endpoint devices, then at least this way, even with the payload on your device, we still have the ability to prevent it from calling back home, doing the entire encryption key thing. And this is a fine example with WannaCry as to how Umbrella detected that, prevented it, even though it was, I believe it was hard-coded IP address, I can't remember, but even that was preventable in this instance as well. So given that level of security and that protection early on, automatically and proactively as opposed to reactively, which is what we've always done in the past, that's definitely of value. I mean, you know, malware doesn't sleep, we do. So somebody clicks a link, it propagates throughout your network infrastructure. What do you do in that instance, right? So having something like Umbrella to provide that first layer of defense is definitely a great value. So what I'll do now is quickly show you guys the licensing there. And in terms of the cloud marketplace, we offer professional and insights. So as you guys can see, with regards to professional, best for small companies, insights, best for mid-sized companies, platform, best for advanced security teams and anyone looking to have great visibility and the ability to investigate threats, not just in an organizational capacity, but on a grand scale. Interesting thing, with regards to the Australian marketplace, I find extremely relevant insights primarily, professional as a great introduction and entry for most of you on the call for your customers out there. Insights usually goes for like 100+ user deployment where you want Active Directory integration as well, user-based policies, log retentions with, as you can see there with regards to AWS, you can do like lifetime log retention there as well. Professional would be an excellent way as an introduction to a lot of your customers. So after you do that initial 14-day trial, there's a lot of value in deploying Umbrella, just like as I mentioned earlier, with regards to malware, phishing, C2 callback protection, catching the threats earlier, giving that visibility, even for roaming clients, which is important as well, right? So given that control, basic web filtering's there and basic reporting as well. So I'll show you that on the dashboard. And yeah, so with regards to our customers and what I find relevant here is anyone's looking, like I said earlier, anyone's looking to do Active Directory integration, Insights definitely the way to go. If you're just looking to provide that first layer of protection, nice, simple, and easy, professional is definitely worth looking into as well. So a quick demo. So what we have here is a Cisco Umbrella dashboard. As you can see on the overview page, we have the deployment health. So we have visibility of the networks, roaming clients, virtual appliances that are on here, network request breakdown. So we can see the total requests coming through. We can set this up to even as far back as 30 days for visibility. Total blocks, security blocks, malware blocks is always a good one to keep an eye on. Most block requests, so if we're doing it by identity, we have visibility here of so networks, we have Active Directory users, and also endpoint devices in terms of visibility. Destination-wise, we have visibility of domains, IPs, and URLs. For going to deployment, it's as simple as going into networks, click Add up top. What we see is start by pointing your network DNS to our servers. So be that on your ISR routers, be that on your DHCP servers, redirection to here. We name the network name here. We place, so say, Sydney-based office or Melbourne-based office, place in the IP address, and we have visibility straight from here. So I'm currently on a read-only account, so I don't have admin privileges to show you guys, but it's as simple as if we're adding in roaming clients as well, we have visibility of current roaming clients on that network infrastructure. We see the DNS layer encrypted, protected. They're using Umbrella roaming client. As I mentioned earlier, we can integrate this with AnyConnect clients as well. So we just go up to roaming clients. We can see integration for Windows client, integration for Mac OS, AnyConnect Umbrella roaming client as well. So there are options there. Very simple to configure, very simple to use, very quick to deploy, and can scale as large as your organization, obviously licensing permitting. Another cool thing is if I go into, say, policies, I can look up different policies on the network infrastructure. So mobile device policies, at home, bypass policy, which is the one currently on the primary network. So if I was to show that, networks, New York office, takes me back to the same location. We can apply different settings based upon, say, content blocking for something basic like obviously non-relevant to work information, all the way to a higher security policy in place. Custom can be applied as well. On the right-hand side, we can just select whatever is necessary, whatever we feel we want to remove as well. Apart from that, we can add allow lists, block lists as well. So say if we have a marketing department, we want to add them in as well. Marketing is allowed. I believe that's like Facebook and LinkedIn. Yep, so Facebook, LinkedIn, access as well. Custom block pages for the policy as well. So you can apply the default umbrella policy. Default block page, sorry. We can apply your own custom page as well, adding a bit more personal touch to the deployment. We can add in bypass users and also codes if necessary. Cool thing as well is we can do file inspection as well. Allows the proxy to block malicious files. So rather than allow or deny for unknown disposition sites, it will at least have that inspection component as well. Advanced settings, we can do SSL decryption as well, enable intelligent proxy SSL decryption, as easy as that there. Cool things about reporting. One of the things that I like is how simple it is to just go security overview, and we see all our requests, all our block requests, security block requests that are happening within our infrastructure. We can see based upon identities as well, much like the previous screen. If we go to security activities, and most of these screens pivot into one another. So if I was to select one in here, it will move into the activity search. So for example, I was looking for the last 24 hours, say 8 o'clock. We can check all the events at that point that were blocked. So we have filters here for blocking, HTTP, HTTPS, based upon the identity, what categories, if it's something malware of interest to us. We can apply that for visibility. Content categories as well. So it can really break down really quickly into what's going on. We can check by DNS, URL, or IP requests. We can filter based on identity within the infrastructure. We can see Marcus has accessed a lot of infrastructure there. Let's see if there's anything that's been blocked. So if we go back to, say, security search, set up for this week, we can check by security categories as well from here. Just keep filtering information very easy, as there's a lot of information to process. So being able to have visibility of this data quick and easy to allow you to pinpoint areas of compromise, pinpoint prevented attacks, and then be able to remediate from there, being able to come up with a plan, how to improve, say, security or policy or user behavior. There's a lot of things that we can do from that as well. Another thing that I like on here is app discovery. This gives us visibility into applications within the infrastructure, positions their risk factor as well. And I'll just wait for it to load real quickly to show you guys. Okay, I'll come back to that one when it loads. Policies, cool thing is, as we mentioned earlier, there's integration, so third-party integration. There's also custom APIs that we can do. So here are a few possible integrations with, say, AMP for FretGrid, so like a sandboxing solution as well. Go reporting. Let's try this one again. But anyways, on the app discovery page, we have visibility of the different applications that are within the infrastructure. What is their risk to either to the business? Is it compliant? And how many DNS requests it's been hitting to determine if it's a risk to the business or not. So it gives you at least a visibility as well into what's that shadow IT component of your network infrastructure, and gives you the ability to at least act upon that as well. So what I'll do right now is I'll get Maria on to quickly run through what we have at Ingram Micro in terms of promos.
So hi everyone, my name is Maria Yani. I'm the vendor manager in our cloud business. So we've just announced Cisco Umbrella onto our cloud marketplace, which is a really exciting launch for us. And you can now order it through our marketplace under an annual subscription for both professionals and insights. So to get access to it, you just follow the link provided on the screen, which is our cloud, directly to our cloud marketplace. If you have any issues logging on or getting access to it, please contact our cloud team, and I'll provide you those details at the end. So yeah, as I mentioned, Cisco Umbrella is now on our cloud marketplace, really easy to purchase. So you just need to follow the prompts provided on our screen. And also, in addition to Cisco Umbrella, we also have Cisco WebEx Teams, which we launched earlier in the year. And that's also a very exciting launch. And I know on the roadmap, there'll be further product announcements coming out shortly.
So in terms of how it's priced, it's what you see is per user per month pricing, but it is an annual subscription there. Best way to scale it is how many users you have within your network infrastructure. So if you have 100 users, then 100 license for the offering that you're going with. In terms of that, next one is? Yeah,
so because of it's a new launch for us, we do have a promotion on at the moment, which is $100 credit or $200 credit, depending on whether you're purchasing professionals or insights, and it's for every 10 licenses sold. So you can absolutely make the most of that. That's a significant investment by Cisco and Ingram Micro to encourage our partners to give it a go. So please let us know if you have any questions around this, but we have seen quite a lot of interest in the market. So I think this will be a really good uptake.
So it's as simple as trial it out, go to umbrella.cisco.com, give it a 14-day trial. And if you generate an opportunity off that, here we have, if you're going with professionals or insights, additional value.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and you can use, this is for cloud marketplace, right?
Yeah, all through cloud marketplace.
Yeah, so eventually, I mean, imagine if something like AMP for endpoint becomes an offering on cloud as well. That'd be awesome, because then you can have tighter security for the offering. So endpoint protection with secure internet gateway, practically the best protection that you can offer today with regards to a roaming user out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let us know again if you have any questions or want to look at that offering more detail, and we can help you out. The other thing that's really exciting, and it's coming up in October in Melbourne and Sydney, is our annual Cloud Summit event. It's our annual cloud event that we host every year, and we've had a massive interest in this. We had 500 plus attendees last year, and we're expecting them more, the same if not more this year. So if you haven't received the details or you haven't seen the invitation come through, just go to ingramMicroCloudSummit.com.au and you can register there if you're in Sydney or Melbourne. And if you have any questions or need help, please reach out to our cloud team. Details provided on the screen, or give us a call. And we really hope that you enjoyed the presentation. And Soin, did you want to finish off? Or?
Yeah, look, so best way to get in contact, reach out to me via email, soin.savic@ingrammicro.com. What I'll do is I'll create a WebEx Teams group. I'll keep it open for about a week or so. Feel free to ask as many questions as you guys like. It doesn't have to just be about the cloud marketplace. It can be anything with regards to Cisco technology, be it from the collaboration, from the security, from the data center, or the enterprise networking portfolio. Myself and the team are happy to help out any way we can. So thank you very much for the time on today's session, and actually looking forward to the questions, and hoping actually we get more questions. So yeah, thank you very much for your time, guys.